What's up, everybody? This is Yuri. In today's video, I'm going to be going over 13 different viral ad styles and formats that I've either used personally in my business or that I've seen other businesses use or have a very high potential to go viral. Now, what does that mean? Going viral effectively means users are sharing it organically on the platform, giving you a little bit of a bump in your, a reduction in your CPA, and of course a reduction in your CPM. If you have organic shares coupled with your paid advertising efforts, you kind of create this cascade of virality in your content. Now, it's not truly going viral because it's not like being organically shared. You're also giving it some fuel with that, with the CPMs. But in a lot of cases, these actually do go viral even after the ads shut off. We're still getting attributions for the organic user shares on these ads. So these aren't all ads that we've personally ran, but these styles and formats are things that I've either seen or ran personally and things that I've implemented in the business. So these are sort of time-tested, proven styles that I know will give you a huge boost in your CPA or a huge reduction in your CPA in this case. And they're going to give you the highest probability to go viral. So the first one I'd like to share with you is called a TikTok style. It's not actually from TikTok. These aren't ads actually taken out of TikTok. These are the inspiration of TikTok. So you got the robot voice and you got the text bubble here. I'm just going to play it for you, and do excuse the audio input here. I did link all these advertisers. I'm not going to link the individual ads because if I do that, they might get taken down and the link might get broken. So I'm going to link the advertisers in here so that you can click on it and take a look at what's actually working for them at the time that you're going to look at it. It might be different than what I'm showing you here today. But let's see what this ad is all about.
Looking for a zero sugar snack? Meet Magic Spoon, a high protein cereal that has...
Alright, so I just wanted to show you that intro. It's a really quick ad. It's a 17-second ad. It's a loop style ad. And we're going to get into loop style ads towards the end of this content, but the beginning of this is a TikTok style. You see that purple text bubble with a catchy headline, along with
zero sugar snack,
along with a robot voice or some sort of a canned voice. Somebody's reading a script on the actual video. So this is a 9:16 video. I see a lot of this stuff on stories and reels placements, so it is really, really valuable to implement that. Here's another one that's really, really clever. You have some text printed on the forehead right above the eyes. Humans always look at eyes. That's like one of the things with advertising is you're always going to look at the person's eyes first. That's just human nature. We always look at eyes. Eyes are a trigger for us to understand who we're talking to and start getting that identification in place in our brain. This is a subconscious thing. We don't have control over it. So putting some text above that, somebody's eyes, let's see that. It's hugely valuable, right? And he's not even saying anything. It's just a text bubble. It's the idea of having a text bubble over some sort of piece of content. All right, so that's the TikTok style. That's been working really, really well for us. We've also done, very much many different iterations of this TikTok style. And we're going to go right into the next piece here, which is a 15 or 30-second looping videos. Now, I have mentioned looping in a different video, and I'm also mentioning it in the article. Looping has to do with how many times your video is going to be replayed on Facebook. Now, if you're under 15 seconds or less, I believe you're going to autoplay. Now, if I'm incorrect or mistaken, please do comment below and let me know the current specifications. But I do recall under 15 seconds, you'll get the benefit of autoplay, and you'll be able to loop your video about 8 times or so. So Facebook has a calculator that you will loop. Basically, you're going to loop your video for up to 120 seconds, and something like that. 120 seconds. It's 2 minutes. So 120 seconds, you'll be able to loop your video. And you can either choose to have a 15-second video, a 30-second video, a minute-long video, or a minute-and-a-half long video. All these different combinations of different lengths will give you advantage on certain placements over others. For example, stories and reels. A lot of people really like that short duration, quick video, quick ad. So we're going to see a lot of that kind of content popping up here. Magic Spoon uses this quite a lot. So no matter what you, whenever you're looking at Magic Spoon's content library, ad library, they're going to have a lot of short variants because they're taking advantage of the looping. Disruptive footage. The next thing we're going to talk about is disruptive footage. Here I have VShred. VShred is notorious for using disruptive footage in their ads. I've linked one of their ads, but you can find any of these disruptive elements in a lot of their Facebook ad library. I'm just going to play this real quick.
Who doesn't know their metabolic type? Stop scrolling.
Okay, so did you see what happened there? We had a disruptive intro, and then it goes into the actual pitch. So, and we have Vince here with a whiteboard. And whiteboard videos, we're going to get into that as well. But anyway, this intro is a disruptive intro. So the point of this is to catch your eye as you're scrolling. Now, this is also a 9:16 placement, which tells me it's a Reels and Stories placement. This disruptive footage that they're doing is just to get somebody's attention as they're scrolling through. All right, so these are sort of like little cheat codes here. Would I lean too hard on these? Not really, but you can go through the library yourself and take a look at what's going on there. ChatGPT style. Now, this style I don't have an example of because I can't actually share the example. Basically, an AI, we're asking the AI a question in the same style and format of ChatGPT, and it's spitting out a response in that same style and format, as if we're emulating that experience for the user. So we're leveraging ChatGPT, and we're getting a response from the AI telling us what, whatever the question is, whatever the crystal ball is going to generate for us that day. Okay, the next piece is I'm going to talk about varied ad openers. Underneath the video, you'll find a link to one of my creative format guides. This creative format guide is what I use with my creative team every single day. We go over different creative formats and we make sure that we hit different creative formats for different ads that we create. The reason why this is so valuable is you can assign a number to these formats and you can just call out the number and everybody knows what you're talking about. This creative format guide is something that I include in my paid course. Click the link below and you can take a look at it yourself. The next piece is our talking head style. Here's Grant Cardone's ad library.
Hey, what if I could give you 4 things that would take you from 0 to a billionaire? Okay? Who am I to say that? To promise you that? Grant Cardone.
All right, so right away, he opens up, hey, what if I can do X, Y, and Z to give you X, Y, and Z, right? We already know what he's talking about. He's going to teach us how to become billionaires, or millionaires, billionaires. Regardless, I'm interested from the first, 7 seconds of listening to Grant Cardone. First of all, it's Grant Cardone. Second of all, he's offering me a piece of advice. Grant Cardone has got charisma and he's going through his pitch. So the first thing that he says, he opens up with a really sort of compelling way of a compelling question for us to answer. He also is doing it from the perspective of a selfie camera. So he's holding the camera out and he's doing a selfie. This is called a talking head. These are really, really, really valuable pieces of ad content and they work really well. You just got to frame them correctly. All right, moving on. User-generated content showing the result. Let's see what the UGC has for us today. All right, here we are at Sculpt Nation. Now, Sculpt Nation is also, there's a lot of these different UGC style ads. I'm going to play it real quick.
I lost 22 pounds. All the fat just started melting off. It just kept every week coming off more and more.
I lost 53 pounds.
I'm running a bike.
All right, so it's UGC. It's the people who purchase our products, our customers, are saying something about the product. This is the most valuable piece of footage, and what we're looking for is the result. I have a link here underneath this video of a write-up I did about UGC content. Do check it out if you want to learn more about how to elicit the right questions and get UGC content for your brand. The next piece I have for you is a story style. Now, story styles tend to be a little bit more mundane and boring, but they are very, very effective at getting and eliciting the right responses, which is a click from the user. Story style footage typically made with Lumen 5 or some sort of like an automatically generated story. You plug in a bunch of text and photos and it generates this sort of story style format. And it's usually just music background. All right, so
I'm Brandon and I've lost over 150 pounds in a week.
Noom Wait is
Okay, so this is Noom, and they're going over Brandon's story. So they'll start off with some before shots, some perhaps some discussion. Sometimes I see actual talking over it. Sometimes I don't. Usually it's just the results, right? They go through the story and there's text overlay, and you can read it as a caption. Again, most users are audio off as they browse. So having audio in there is only effective if the user has it turned on. So you got to get them to turn on their audio to listen to your ad. So oftentimes captions are really, really important, and sometimes we just have background music playing along with that story. And these stories are really useful as part of other ads. So it's part of the ad, not necessarily the ad itself. So Lumen 5 can be a great resource for us if we're using it correctly. I wouldn't use one of those ads in their raw state. I'd use them in combination with other pieces that I've talked about in this write-up. Thumbnails. Thumbnails are really, really cool because we can actually use both an image and a video ad in combination. We don't necessarily have to be committed to a single style or a single format. We can use an image to elicit a click or a view on Facebook just by having a cool image. So let's look at this Gundry MD ad that they have. The problem isn't your age. We click. Do you see that? It just changed. That is not the video ad. It didn't open with that image. So he used a thumbnail, a manual thumbnail, which I show you how to do that, and I'll link to that in the next. I'll link to that under this video, a manual thumbnail on how you can include a manual thumbnail and also do the ad image and add video and kind of do both at the same time. So you get the benefit of an image and a video. Stitching. Stitching is another thing I'm playing with. I don't have an example of this because this is currently in test and it's working quite nicely. Stitching is basically taking a bunch of different ads. Remember we talked about looping? Well, what if we take that 2-minute segment that we have for most placement? It has to be under 120 seconds. What if we take that 120 seconds and we put multiple 15-second, let's say 8 15-second ads, and we'll negate looping. We don't really care about looping. We're going to create our own loop. So we're going to stitch a bunch of short ads together and basically let it loop on its own. But it's actually a 2-minute ad that we're uploading. So we're playing with the time. We're playing with the space and the time as media buyers. So that would be a really, really cool way of implementing. We're currently testing it, so I would love to share the results once we have them. Whiteboard style. A whiteboard style is pretty typical. They work. You know, what is a whiteboard style? Have some stuff written on the whiteboard and then go over it in the video, like this guy.
Why don't you invest in tax rates?
I'm not a big fan of, to be fair, I'm not a big fan of his presentation. I just like the whiteboard. But you'll see that in Sculpt Nation. You'll also see that in VShred. Another one is in the car. In the car ads are really, really cool because they offer us sort of a driving experience. You're kind of a passenger alongside the person driving. Now, is it actually somebody driving a car? They might be just driving around the block. They may not be going anywhere. But the idea is to be in the car talking in a very, very similar style as a talking head. We're just talking about things, and it's very casual. So this laid-back ad presentation has worked many times, especially if you're in a really fancy car or you rent a fancy car and you're driving around with it. That's really, really powerful because it kind of makes it seem like you're just a passenger, you're hanging out with the person, and we're not doing anything that important. We're just driving around. And then the final style I'd like to portray here is a Zoom style. So having an A-B format, just 2 squares on top of each other, and doing a Zoom interview format would be really, really effective and a really powerful way to get user-generated content and also elicit responses that you might surprise you during that interview. Customers are going to share certain details with you, and they're going to share their experience with the product that you will otherwise not get via email or text or via Trustpilot or other means of getting reviews. A video interview via Zoom is a powerful way to get really, really good footage, and the footage is grainy. That's the point. It's not really high quality, so it feels more casual and it feels more user-generated on the native platform like Facebook. So that is a really, really awesome way of getting really good content and also having a really, really powerful ad format. I do recommend you try it. In fact, I recommend you try any of these 13 strategies that I just outlined in this really long video. I hope this has been beneficial to you and you've enjoyed going through these sort of best practices of Facebook advertising and going over these styles and formats and ideas that have worked for me, business partners, or other colleagues that are in the industry. These formats work. So if you're going to be, and you can take a look at these ad libraries that I'm sharing with you here today, and you can take a look at it for yourself and see what other advertisers are doing and what ad formats are working for them. Thank you so much for watching this video. I put a lot of thought and energy into these videos, so please do like and subscribe and comment if you got questions. I'm happy to answer any questions for you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.